So forgive how I look. I just woke up. Not that it's all that different from how I usually look. Yeah. So anyway, I just woke up with a dream. I'm at my parents' house and visiting, and I woke up with a really interesting dream this morning. And in the dream, I was like out in this kind of like a field in front of some things. I don't know what it was. Like there were pine trees, if I remember right, and stuff like that. And there was kids out playing, and there was people all around, just doing their thing. And then all of a sudden, my youngest grandson, who is 4, I believe, comes up to me, and he's concerned. He's got the he's concerned face, and then I'm like, "What's wrong, baby?" And he says, I think he says, "Someone just told me that we have to die so we can go to heaven." Actually, he said something more like he was, I don't remember exactly how, but he was, that was attributed to like God, like God had to let us die so we could go to heaven, or God was, or it's something like that. And I was like, "Who told you that, baby?" And I was like, "No, no, no, that, that's not right." So I start explaining to him about the whole thing, Jesus, God, the devil, kind of thing, that I didn't want him being afraid of God, that like God was going to kill him so that he could go to heaven. That was the impression that I was under, that he was thinking. So I'm like, thinking, who told you this? And I'm looking around, and I don't know exactly how this guy, I just know when I woke up that I was under the impression that this Gardner that was there present had said something to him and given him the impression that he was going to have to die so he could go to heaven. And of course he's 4, so he's not really articulating everything in a way where I can totally follow exactly what had just happened there. But my assumption in my dream was this person had said something to him, and this is how he had took it. So anyway, while like looking around, speculating about what just happened there and thinking it's time for us to go, my other grandson comes running up to me from another direction. And he's been out playing with the kids. He's having a great time, and just doing the kid thing. And I'm like, "Come on, baby, it's time for us to go." And he's like, "No, we can't go right now." And he's kind of winded, and excited. And he says that someone, or somehow, I don't know how he related, that somebody, oh, he didn't tell me that someone just told him. He said, the president's getting ready to come back. And then he says, no, wait, it's somebody way more important than that. The king is about to come back. And then he's like, "No, wait." And I was like, "Jesus?" And he's like, "Yeah, Jesus." And I was just like, who told you that?" And I'm thinking, one of these kids or whatever. And I said something like, I don't remember. I said, "Did one of these kids or did someone tell you that?" And he's like, "No." And he motions over to like the wooded area and says, one of the little, I think he said woodchucks, or he didn't know what it was. It was some little animal, and I'm thinking a squirrel. And we do have little things that we call woodchucks that are not woodchucks. Maybe they are, but they're not the big woodchucks like a groundhog. They're some other little squirrel-like creature that's around here. So anyway, but his inference was that an animal or something had told him, not a person. And he was so excited and insistent that he couldn't leave right now. because he was under the impression that this was imminent and he shouldn't leave this place. So I thought that was really interesting. I've had a rapture dream before many years ago, and I've had a couple of other, like many years ago. I'll have to record it and talk about that on another video. I'm going to try to get as many of those things in as I can. But if you understood my family dynamics and everything about just kind of where everyone's at and the situation that we have as far as like my grandchildren don't go to church, and so they're really not exposed to these things. They don't have words for some of these things other than some things that have happened. But it was very appropriate. Their reactions and their responses or whatever were very understandable under like what they would know and what they wouldn't know right now. So I thought that was it was exciting. I woke up, my heart was kind of racing, and I was excited, and it was very early, and I'm like, who am I going to tell? I got to tell my husband. I want to tell my mother, and I'm visiting with my parents, and she normally doesn't get up this early, but I went downstairs and she was up, and I was like, and she was so asleep, and I couldn't, I was like, I know, but I'm going to have to tell you anyway. So anyway, I just thought it was really interesting, and I hope you did too. Thanks.